Hello and welcome to this week's media discussion board where I will use private and public forms of in-home care that share similar mission statements in order to answer Grant Allison's question. So to begin with, one form of public in-home care is in-home supportive services, IHSS, and one form of private in-home care is instead home care, and they both seek to keep their clients safely in their own home by linking them to caregiving services by utilizing an individualized approach. In respect to IHSS and Home Instead Senior Care, it is evident that both public and private agencies are alike in all unimportant respects. Both agencies, whether public or private, the commonality is apparent in the functions of management, the structure of the organization, and decision making. One of the ways that public and private home care agencies are alike in unimportant respects is apparent in the functions of management. As we move along to modern theories of organization, we see how it has evolved into the idea that an organization is comparable to that of a living organism, and it suggests that there has to be balance between the internal and external pressures. Even though managers or leaders have to manage their agencies differently, both private and public agencies must balance internal and external pressures by developing core competencies and aiming to achieve maximum efficiency in an environment that is always changing, which is why it is compared to a living organism that is trying to survive. Both private and public in-home care experiences changes in the environment, which managers have to address and change so that their staff are carrying out their responsibilities accordingly as the environment changes. When there are changes in the environment that happens abruptly, both public and private agencies take on Fayol's 5 functions that are still relevant today. His 5 functions include forecast and plan, organize, command, coordinate, and control, which is equivalent to Frederick W. Taylor's One Best Way. Yet it is apparent that private sector managers have more direct authority because, unlike private managers, public agencies are often faced with public scrutiny and forced to be transparent. The differences are also apparent when it comes to duration, performance measurement, personal constraints, time perspective, equity, and efficiency, and it is unable to measure efficiency or effectiveness because of wicked problems such as poverty, housing problems, unemployment, homelessness, and legislative and judicial impact. The structure of the organization is another way that agencies are alike in unimportant respects. Classical theories such as Weber, Fayol, Taylor, and even Gulick attempted to come up with designs that were effective and efficient in meeting organizations' mission and goals by providing structure in the arrangements of people, positions, and work units. Many agencies and organizations have adopted the classical theories, and it is even apparent in many private and public organizations, such as in private and public in-home care programs. For example, in Weber's bureaucracy, he believed in the division of labor, hierarchy of authority, and formalized rules and procedures. It further explained that there are the principles of office hierarchy that form levels of authority that are firm and ordered, which is evident in both agencies. Both private and public agencies follow Gulick's Proscorps because in order for both programs to work, there has to be an emphasis on the structure, which means that it has to be organized because if not, then it leads to dysfunction. Because the public agency has to serve the people and answer to them, it does sometimes go under scrutiny, so they do have to make sure that they are doing what is right and following regulations. And private sectors are mainly motivated by profit, but the structure still has to be organized in a manner that produces efficiency, because if not, then they will lose productivity, which will end up losing profit. Both agencies have well-defined roles within the organization that forms a hierarchical layer that clearly states the responsibilities of each person and who he or she reports to. Finally, we have decision making. Both private and public agencies have a decision making process that they go through. Both agencies have to consider the goals, carefully assess the possibilities of the consequences in order to make the best choice in terms of their merit. The decisions do differ because, as previously stated, public agencies respond to legislators and private agencies respond to profit. Of course, the merits may be similar, but at the end, the goal is somewhat different. This is where Lindblom comes in because when policy alternatives are considered, only a few important consequences are evaluated. meaning there is no best solution, there's only an imperfect solution. And incrementalism is best suited for an organization in a stable environment where routine is the best policy. So, because public organizations usually perform routine work, incrementalism is best suited. And private organizations are the opposite because it is more unstable and competitive because it is for profit, which is why pay raise is usually given by merit, and like public organizations whose pay increases based on seniority. Thank you for listening to this week's media presentation, and I look forward to listening to your guys' as well.